Hello, everyone. My name's Kevin, and I am going to attempt a podcast. Um, I'm going to ask that in the early stages here, you show me a little grace, bear with me. I'm going to fight through this first part, anyways, best I can. It's very off putting, it's off brand for what I'm good at. Small talk is not my forte, um, and that's with strangers, much less. Um, Looking into a camera, not knowing if I'm talking to someone or if anyone will ever hear this. Again, off-putting. But let me get through this, and we'll see where it goes. And if you will show some patience with me, I hope that it will pay off. Time out. Time out. Sorry. I got to interrupt myself. Um, my amazing wife sat patiently and listened to me rant and talk a lot. And when I finally paused, she was considerate enough to point out the fact that I never actually even mentioned the name of the show. I was totally getting to that eventually. You guys are smart. You got here. You're watching. You hit play. You found it. Um, by now, you know the name of the show. That's all well and good, but she's absolutely right as usual. So here we go. This is American Anatomy. Um, I wanted a name that really put a spotlight on what I'm trying to do here. The tone and the depth uh, that I'm trying to reach, the transcendence and the growth that I'm looking for, uh, and the dissection aspect of it. It's literally like anatomy. I want to open things up and just like other people's brains. I want to open them up, pick in there, pick at them, see what makes them tick. These are things I want to do. I want to dissect the issues, um, explore what's great about America, what's terrible, and see what can be done. Who needs to do what to fix it? Um, we all have a role to play. But until we hold ourselves and others accountable and have the tough conversations, uh, sorry, I'm going to interrupt the guy who interrupted. Just to again kind of throw out some other little tidbit that I wanted to share. Um, I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to tell you what you're all doing wrong or whatever, and to come across as condescending. I want it uh, to be a journey for all of us. I want to learn out loud. I want you to be here while I'm learning and while I'm interacting with people and while the juicy stuff is happening. If we can get there, I mean, if we're not, then the show is going to be a failure anyways. But hell or high water, that's the goal. It's about honest curiosity, trying to dig into faith, politics, science, history, all of the systems that keep this nation alive and thriving. Just like the systems in the body, they all play a part. And there are parts of our body as a nation that are about to have us in critical condition. We're about to have to be in the emergency room if we can't get this shit figured out. Anyways, I just wanted to add that part, man. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to learn. I hope you can learn with me. And with that, I'll let the other guy who was interrupting get back to what he was saying. Um, there we go. Name of the show: American Anatomy. Uh, I hope you enjoy it. Now I'm going to let that guy get back to whatever he was talking about. You might ask the question, Kevin, if you're terrible at small talk, why are you even attempting this? And to that, I would say, damn good question. Um, I'm here seeing a whole lot of things in my world, in my sphere, um, that has me questioning a whole lot of things, a whole lot of people, uh, what makes people tick and think the way they do. Um, how does that compare with what makes me tick and what makes me do the things I do? Um, we're all flawed. There's no doubt about that. We all have our biases. Um, but uh, in this information age, the way we're being fed information, um, it is leading to a whole lot of chaos. And I can't just sit here and do nothing about it. I've obviously attempted to put things on Facebook. Um, that hasn't always necessarily given me what I'm looking for. Um, I'm looking for engagement, conversation, um, but like a means to an end, not just aha, got you kind of, I'm right, you're wrong. Um, Digs at one another. There's there's real shit out there going on, real problems that require real solutions. And at the end of the day, I don't want to get into social media bickering with people where you're coming from your echo chamber and yelling at me in my echo chamber and I'm yelling back at you. And at the end of the day, neither one of us is in a position to want to learn from the other person. Um, because when we really cut through the bullshit, you're not 100% wrong and I'm not 100% wrong. But there is there's my truth, there's your truth, and there's the truth, and there's needs to be some balance there, some levity, um, a baseline, if you will, where we can start a conversation and say, this is what we can agree on. And if we can't agree on this, then we're wasting our time. Um, Case in point, God love you because I do know a couple of them flat earthers. Looking at you here, not to pick on you too bad, but if we can't agree that the earth is round, well, mostly round, I believe it's a little fat in the middle, um, we can't have a normal conversation. I can't have a normal conversation with you because my judgment of that scenario is so tainted, I guess. I if you were from the 1500s, and there wasn't the amount of data that I could literally bury you under in 2025, um, I would show a little more consideration. But in that regard, just using that flat earthers for I guess a whipping boy, I guess. That is what I'm talking about. Is something that we can't start a conversation from there. Um, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds on that regard. But this is where I'm trying to get to. Um, I'm not good at small talk, but when we cut through the small talk, we get past this stage. I've got a premise for a show that will allow me to bring people in, pick their brains. They can pick mine. We, uh, the term I read somewhere, adversarial collaboration. Now, this show, what the definition for that is advanced, but the sound of it sounds great, and it's what I want to do is a version of that you can actually do on a podcast. which is very, 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 very shrunken in from the scope of what that actually means. But yeah, and when I say adversarial, there's going to be people that I bring on here that just we don't agree, and we're trying to find some commonality. Um, Other people, it's not necessarily that we disagree, but it's the perspective that will be different. Um, People that may share similar beliefs, but they're not this. They're not the middle-aged white guy. Um, People that come from different perspectives, and I look forward to that. And I look to having deep conversations with those people. Um, Engage with without the gotchas, without the fallacies, because if you look at some people's attempts at communication slash what they would like to call debate, um, that ain't it. That ain't it. If you're reaching for the next gotcha moment, that's not a debate. Um, Anyways, I would like to actually collaborate, and find the commonalities, and then from there work our way into the weeds and see if we can start here at this point, but by the time we get here, we're way out here. Why? Where can we get? How close can we get? How close can we get to staying here and here? Um, can we get this in? Can we rein this in some to where um, it doesn't lead to verbal assaults on Facebook, to where it doesn't lead to um, tribalism in the sense that we know it based on the political arena, um, and social media and 24-hour news cycles. Those are three key topics that I'd like to kind of focus in on early on, um, and just see if we can own the fact that there are outside influences that are pushing us away for obvious reasons. Um, and is there a way to combat that? If there's something that I want to fight, it's not the person who disagrees with me. It is all of the outside interferences that are creating the echo chambers and the algorithms and all of the shit that they use to try to keep us in tribes and in echo chambers. Um, and that's hard. That's hard when you look past the shallow stuff and you start really getting deep. Um, it gets hard, but it's amazing, and that's where I want to go to there. I love it there. Um, I do well there. I shine there. And if you will allow me to get through this first part, um, where it's all awkward, this first interaction. By the time I can convince somebody to come on here and talk shit with me, uh, and try this thing out, take it for a spin. Um, I I hope it surprises you. I hope it surprises me. I hope I learn. I want to learn. If I can't learn from you, I'm probably not going to ask you to come on. Point blank. If I've asked you to come on, it's because I expect to learn from you. Uh, there is something about you I've respected. I've been curious about. There's something there where I want to get in there, poke around in your head, poke around in your what makes you tick, and see if you can help me get closer to where you're at, and help see if I can help you get closer to where I'm at. And if we can't, we can't. Shit happens. I get it, but that's where I want to try to get to. I want to see growth, and I want to plant seeds that have impacts that spread out, that we can grow like the weeds, and spread real information and real truth and real conversations out there, and see what comes back. Um, because what I'm seeing now sickens me, and for a lot of reasons. Um, the least of which is not the idea that I have the most amazing grandbaby in the world. I know everybody thinks that. I actually have it. I'm sorry, guys. Um, but I want this democracy. I want this nation. I want this world to be all that she hopes that it can be when the time comes. When she has hopes and dreams, I want her to be able to achieve them. And right now, there are so many kids, so many sons and daughters out there who feel like this world has left them behind. There's nothing for them. They're left to pick up scraps. They're fearful of AI. They're fearful of everything right now, and they're not incredibly off base, because if they're not naturally scared of it, then the social media or the news media or the politicians are trying like hell to scare them uh, into outrage, into action, into clicks and likes and um, ratings and engagement numbers, all of that stuff that drives financially drives all of these industries to succeed at our uh, disposal, or at our detriment. There we go. They don't give a shit about us. They don't. I mean, if you find a politician, and I think I may have found one, guys, and it's whatever. We'll see how it plays out. But um, guy who's never been in politics before, but he's trying it out, and I hope to get him on the show, pick his brain, because I want a baseline. I want to get a guy's baseline from Jump Street. I want y'all to come along with me. I want to pick his brain. I want to find out where he's at in 2025. Um, he's going to run for election in 2026, and I want to go along for the ride, and help him out. But first, I've got to pick his brain. First, I've got to see what he's made of, where he's coming from. From what I understand, his top priority is being financially responsible, fiscal responsibility. Shit, I probably fucked that up too. Uh, you know, he's smart with money. He wants to see to it that we become smarter with money uh, on a national scale. Um, that said, uh, so often these politicians start off with good intentions, but when it comes to having to fall in line with the party, um, falling in lines with what the donors are requesting, because they don't give you money to have you represent them. They give you money to gain access to you and to sway your opinion and to make sure that you are voting for things the way they want you to vote. Preaching to the choir, I know. Y'all know that. Um, but in this regard, uh, this gentleman has an uphill battle. Um, he would be attempting to become elected as a Democrat in a very Republican district. But it's one of those things that if he makes it, and if he gets in there, it'll be real interesting, because if it's a true grassroots effort and you can flip a red district blue, when you get up there, your party can't just lean on you, and if you don't fall in line with them, they could cut spending in certain ways that'll hurt you. There are things that they can't do, but as far as the guys who say will primary you out, good luck with that, because his district was red anyways. And once he's been in there, and if he handles his business right, he's got an opportunity to be able to write his own way, to walk his own path, and hold people responsible without necessarily having his legs kicked out from under him. Because a lot of times that happens. A lot of good politicians start out thinking they can change the world. They get up there and then they figure out that it's not that easy. So, anyways, that's one of the things I'd like to do here, as well as trying to stir up conversations, trying to get philosophical and see what we can make happen here. Anyways, I appreciate you bearing with me. If you've made it this far along, I will consider that a win, and we'll see if we don't lose you here in just a minute. Okay, well, I started crunching the numbers and looking at the run time of the show so far, and more importantly, my wife said to put a period on it. So, and to save some things for the next podcast, if there so happens to be one. So with that, I want to close by saying that if we keep this thing going long enough, you'll find out that I have a lot of opinions on a lot of issues, and that I absolutely love giving my wife hell, truly. But I want to say also that I have hope. I do. I know. Seems like there's a rain cloud up here or whatever, but I truly have hope. And through this medium, I'm truly hoping that we get there somewhere with it. I'm excited to quote unquote get into the anatomy lab with you, and go on this journey and start dissecting and analyzing, and start seeing what we can find out. See if we can actually figure out something that might help the greater good. I'm not so full of myself that I think I've got the answers to everybody's problems. I'm not saying that, but who knows? We might be able to figure something out over time, through enough dialogue and actual effort. Because to me, there's so many people out there that are just treating the symptoms. They say that so many illnesses could be eradicated, but there's too much money in it. That's some conspiracy theory shit. I don't want to go down that road just yet, but it makes sense. We could have our politicians actually go about solving issues and finding, like, the economy, actually, like going to true blue economists and some of these think tanks and figuring out what's best and coming to a solution and figuring it out and solving problems. But you don't get reelected solving problems, no more than if you're a pharmaceutical company, you run out of patients if you cure something. Whether they have the cure for things or not, I don't know. I can't speak on those, but I can correlate that if you find something that helps alleviate symptoms, you can sell it for a long time. Versus if you can cure somebody, you cure them one time and they're cured, and that's that. It's kind of funny how that works, but you can cure yourself right out of a paycheck. So with that, stay safe. It's my first time saying it, so it sounds weird coming out of my mouth. But if you like what I've had to say, like, share, and subscribe. Follow, um, and thank you. If you've made it this far, thank you truly. Let me know what you think.